Welcome back. It's a battle royale. Battle for legacy and battle for a Pawar fort. Two women candidates, both rivals, filed their nominations today. Three-term Lok Sabha member Supriya Sule filed her nomination as the NCP candidate from Baramati parliamentary constituency in Maharashtra's Pune. Meanwhile, Sunetra Pawar, wife of Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, has also filed a nomination from the same constituency as the NCP's candidate. Sunetra Pawar was accompanied by her husband Ajit Pawar, Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister, who joined the Shinde-led government in July 2023. The NCP split had sent shockwaves not just for Maharashtra politics, but also the India bloc that had set out at that time to be a unity bloc of several opposition parties. And as these two women have been fielded, the barbs began quite a while ago, in fact. Remember, Supriya Sule accused the BJP of fielding a woman, a family member who was supposed to be a mother-like figure unto her, referring to her cousin brother Ajit Pawar's wife, that's Sunetra Pawar, saying that BJP wanted the family to be split. While Sunetra Pawar said that it was her duty as a wife to stand by her husband. Now, for those who may not be very closely watching the constituencies like Baramati, why is this such a high-profile constituency? Well, firstly, it's going to polls on 7th. It has been a bastion of the Pawar clan. Supriya Sule has won 3 Lok Sabha elections here since 2009, succeeding her father, Sharad Pawar, who, by the way, held this seat for 30 years before passing it on to her. 30 years, 30 years. During the 2014 Modi wave, Supriya Sule managed to secure a win for the NCP from the constituency with a reduced margin of 69,000 votes, much less than the margin of the 3 lakh votes in 2009 Lok Sabha elections. But here's another aspect. While two high-profile women, powerful women, and I'm talking powerful because of who they are, what they represent, the constituencies that they are battling, the legacy that they are battling for, while these two high-profile women are locked in a fierce political face-off. Look at this. My team has come out with this data from various sources, including the Election Commission of India as well as ADR and other sources. Look at this. Lok Sabha Phase 1, there's a total number of candidates in this are 1,625. Men are 1,491. Women are 134. Let that sink in. As India prepares to vote for the first phase, there are 1,491 male candidates that we are going to be voting for and only 134 women. In 2019, there were 9% of women candidates fielded in all. Till now, in 2024, you have 8%. Let's just look at Maharashtra. Only 15 women candidates in Maharashtra till now. And the subdivision is right in front of you. Within the Mahayuti, you have BJP with the highest at just about 6 till now. And within the Mahavikas Aghadi, the highest is Congress with just about 3 till now. Let's just quickly listen in to Supriya Sule because that's one reaction that we have come in and we are speaking about the two women candidates. So let's listen in to Supriya Sule. As soon as we get Sunetra Pawar's response, we will listen in to her as well.
काम देख के, मेरा मेरिट देख के, बारामती की माई बाप जनता जरूर मेरे साथ खड़ी रहेगी, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है.
I'm being joined by Brijmohan Shrivastav, who's the national spokesperson for NCP, Pranay Ajmera, who's the NCP leader for the Sharad Pawar faction, as well as Shaina NC, who's a spokesperson for BJP. Well, I'm very glad we have Shaina NC who's joining us. Considering this panel, we have at least one woman. That's a better ratio when you compare it to what candidates are being fielded in terms of men versus women. We'll come to that in a bit. Shaina, I'm going to be coming to you. Shaina, I think you're speaking something. Do you want, can we have a mic up? I think Shaina was just remarking something at this point. Shaina, you were saying something?
Can you hear me? Because I can hear you well.
Yes, I can hear you.
I was saying that probably a better ratio. I said probably a better ratio than the ratio of women candidates in the fray on your panel today.
Absolutely, and that's why you're here. Absolutely, and we are hoping we will come to you as not only as the party that you're representing to, but as a woman who is in politics and a strong woman who's in politics.
Yes.
We'll come to you in a bit, but let me just go across first to Brijmohan Shrivastav at this point. Brijmohan ji, with the nominations that have happened today, with the very strong allegations that have emerged over the past few days, the very strong barbs that have come against you, that listen, fielding Sunetra Pawar comes as no surprise, because that could have been the best strategic game plan that BJP could have fielded. How do you look at that?
No, I personally feel it is not any type of game plan. It was very clear that in the beginning, when our party was divided, we were planning to have our candidate like Baramati also. And we found that one of the best candidates is the Sunetra Pawar ji, because she is having a lot of work over there. She worked as a social worker there, and she was always stand with the Ajit Pawar. So the voter of Baramati was constantly demanding that Sunetra ji must represent this Baramati constituency. So therefore we have chosen her, and we are sure that she is one of the finest candidate amongst all, and she will take care of properly Baramati when she will become a member of parliament. So therefore she was our choice, and therefore we have given ticket to her.
Okay, before I go to Pranay Ajmeraji, Brijmohan, one more question to you. Mahayuti or the BJP for that matter, if you look at where Prime Minister Modi, Amit Shah, everybody is going, and the big campaigns that they are running, one of the biggest things against Congress that they have is dynastic politics. आप तो उसको बढ़ा रहे हैं, you are only fueling that.
No, ये मुद्दा ये है कि इस डायनेस्टी की बात जरूर है, लेकिन डायनेस्टी का मतलब क्या है? जब सब कुछ एक परिवार फैसला ले और सब कुछ उस परिवार के लिए किया जाए। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का भी यही कहना है। यहां लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है। यहां हमारी पार्टी में एकमात्र पवार परिवार से सिर्फ अजीत पवार हमारे अध्यक्ष हैं, इसके अलावा पूरी नेशनल कमेटी दूसरे लोगों की है, जिसपे एक बृजमोहन श्रीवास्तव भी है। इसी प्रकार से ये जो कैंडिडेट भी है, तो कैंडिडेट का सिलेक्शन हमेशा विनेबिलिटी को लेकर होता है कि कौन बेहतर कैंडिडेट है जो वहां से जीत सकता है, और किसके प्रति जनता का ज्यादा प्रेम है, या किसके लिए जनता चाहती है कि ये हमारा प्रतिनिधित्व करे। उस आधार पे पार्टी के कैंडिडेट का सिलेक्शन होता है। तो मैं सोचता हूँ कि
नोट डायनेस्टी से जुड़े हुए हो तो ज्यादा पॉपुलैरिटी तो होगी। बट एनीवे, प्रणय अजमेरा जी, हाउ डू यू रिस्पॉन्ड टू व्हाट Brijmohan Shrivastav is speaking?
Sneha ji, the NCP Ajit Dada faction, we are not finding any suitable candidate who can match the caliber and worth of Supriya Sule. It is on record and it is known to all, including the spokesperson from the Ajit Dada faction, that Supriya Tai has performed tremendously in her regime as member of parliament from the Baramati constituency. She has been the best member of parliament. She has been awarded the best member of parliament award a lot many times, and continuously she has maintained that stature. Continuously she is performing and have been one of the finest parliamentarian this country has ever had. It is Mr. Modi, it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi who had himself appreciated her from the floor of the house in the last session of the parliament, just to match the caliber of Honorable Supriya Tai and to make this fight, this contest known and famous in the entire country. Dada faction was not finding any suitable candidate, and that's why they came up with Honorable Sunetra Tai, whom I respect dearly. But it is known to all. It has been, if you do the ground research and if you do if you go and get in touch with the voters, the entire wave is in the favor of Supriya Tai. And I must bring this into record, and you may record this statement that
But
Honorable Supriya Tai
remember
is
the
winning this
huge
post with a
vote
margin
margin,
of
sir.
more than 1.5
Remember the
lakh
huge
votes.
vote margin, the big decline, the decline of vote shares.
Ma'am, please accept this point. Ma'am, please accept this point that this, in elections, it keeps happening. In 2014, the margin could have been different. In 2019, the margin could have been different because the opposition candidate was different. There are times when an opposition candidate garners more votes than and there are times when the opposition candidate gets less votes. This thing keeps happening in politics.
Okay.
The margin is never static, no matter whichever the politician is contesting polls. But in this particular Lok Sabha election of 2024, let me make it very clear and let me bring this on record that Honorable Supriya Tai is winning comfortably, and the margin would be somewhere around 1.5 lakh votes. I'm glad to bring
All
you on
right,
the
matter
record
of
on the
time,
day
and
when
we'll see
Honorable Tai
between Supriya and
filed.
Sunetra who wins. All right, Pranay, allow me to just go across to Shaina NC. And Shaina NC, let's have a very honest conversation over this. And I'll start with being honest. While we were writing lines for this show and we were discussing, we had these two lines, that we were trying to put out, will Ajit Pawar inherit the constituency or will Sharad Pawar retain it? And that's when a senior editor, who happens to be a male in this context, he came up and said, aren't you guys doing exactly opposite to what you guys are trying to do in the show? And that's when it struck us. That's true. You are so used to a narrative that is being spun around that you get blind spotted. Are politicians blind spotted to what might just be seen traditional vote banks, traditional vote spaces? You cannot say women are incompetent not to be given candidatures when they're launching rockets and reaching planets, Shaina.
So at the yes, yeah, absolutely. So at the outset, I must say this as my opening comment, that any woman given an opportunity is going to be based on her competency, and that competency is very important, but the opportunity is even more important. So as we were just joking in the beginning of your show, saying that even today on your panel, despite we're discussing two competent women, you have two men and one woman in the panel. But having said that, it's great to have two women even contesting against each other. But what is the basis of the voter deciding? Is it going to be because somebody is somebody's daughter or somebody is somebody's wife? Absolutely not. Sunetra Tai, and as we call her Vaini, has worked on ground, has worked with all the educational institutes. And as Ajit Dada was busy even in his political career, where he was handling multiple other facilities and, responsibilities as the minister that he was, it was Sunetra Vaini that was working on ground. So just to judge a woman by saying that, oh, she's been excellent in parliament is one aspect of the debate. But on ground, who is the person who connects with hearts, connects with the voter is the most important. And I think what happens is that we sometimes judge women very, shall I say, in a very prejudiced way, where we say that, oh, she's a homemaker, but she's not. She's been working on ground as a social worker for so many years, and the voter is very sharp to figure who is playing to the gallery and who is not. Having said that, whether Supriya Sule wins or Sunetra Pawar, that time will tell. But the premise for what it should stand for is the work which is done on ground, where I think with the backing of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the NCP Ajit Dada faction is way, way ahead. So let's not sit in this, ivory
let me just get in Pranay at this point, Shaina. Pranay, do you want to respond to what Shaina is saying?
Because that is not the criteria.
Okay, fair enough. Beti versus Bahu, is that how the argument needs to be going? Because one of the first things that that the NCP SP and in fact Supriya Sule herself said, you are pitching a mother against the family. So what?
Sneha ji, it's not like that way. unfortunately, for some reasons, what has happened in politics is that a family person is contesting against the family person. In past, Sunetra Vahini has only campaigned for Supriya Tai extensively and had played a crucial role in the victory of Honorable Supriya Tai. We accept that fact because we were a family and we will always be a family. But today, unfortunately, the ways have parted. The leaders have chosen their ideologies and have preferred to. Some have preferred to stay with the ideology they support, and some have preferred a different way, which is their personal call. And I wouldn't like to comment on it. But when it comes to the politics, when it comes to the contest, it is women versus women, and it is candidate versus candidate, and it is up to the voters to decide whom they want to send to the parliament. As far as the working is concerned, and my sister Saina ji has said, she was excellent in parliament and she was excellent in constituency. That's why the voters have sent her to the parliament again and again. And they have made their mind to send her again, ma'am. So we have to keep the track record of a parliamentarian into regard. And this is something the voters will also keep in mind before casting their vote. Let's just not ignore the work she has done.
No,
we have to take it into consideration, ma'am. And the voter will take it.
No, but here also, okay, let me just come across to you, Shaina, again at this point. Shaina, while we are talking about legacy, while you're talking about work
me to be
at individual levels, whether it is Supriya Sule as a parliamentarian or whether it is Sunetra Pawar for whatever work she has done as a social worker on the field, at their individual capacities, there's also a legacy battle that's going on. At the end of the day, isn't all of this about the Pawar name?
You,
Shaina,
at the beginning of the show, said, please be extremely honest. So can I be very honest with you? The honest answer that I need to give you today is that when the voter is stepping out to vote, who are they voting for? They are voting for the politics of performance. What does that performance spell? A very dynamic leader in Ajit Pawar, 100%. The most dynamic leader the country has ever seen in the Prime Minister Modi ji. And the fact that we are, as an alliance government, working on ground to make sure that women's schemes also percolate down to the poorest of poor. And whether it is Devendra Fadnavis or this entire alliance of ours of the Mahayuti, the work that has happened on ground, be it 11 crore gas cylinders through Ujjwala, be it Ayushman Bharat where you get 5 lakhs, be it 25 crore, poor getting over above below the poverty line. The fact is the work has percolated down to the poorest of poor. And there you have a dynamic duo of Prime Minister Modi, Devendra Fadnavis, Ajit Pawar and Sunetra Vahini. And this is not a battle of a Bahu versus a daughter. This is a battle of who do you want to see as the Prime Minister of India? Who do you want to see leading this entire movement of empowering every single Indian towards a Viksit Bharat? And I think in that, Sunetra Vahini stands leaps and bounds ahead, because of the work she has done on ground. So don't dismiss anybody by just trying to play a family kind of, division, which obviously one has to keep aside when you're in the electoral field, and may the best person win. And I think this victory is imminent.
Sure. Shaina, but while you were saying it's about Prime Minister Modi and Ajit Pawar, there's also Sharad Pawar at the end, and Baramati has been his fort. Pranay Ajmera, do you want to make the last response, a quick response to what Shaina NC has said at this point?
But the public has...
Definitely, ma'am. She is centralizing the election.
But the public has given Mr. Sharad Pawar and his family the ample opportunity. So it's time to understand that experience even has an expiry date.
Sneha ji. Hello, Sneha ji.
Well, that's a punchline. Pranay, can you match that?
Definitely, ma'am. I actually don't want to reply to that punchline, but I must say that it is the election of a constituency. Though it is a Lok Sabha election, the constituents elect their member of parliament. They are not seeing Prime Minister Narendra Modi as their MP, but they want to select an MP who is accessible and who is there for them as and when they need. And for that particular purpose, Pawar, who is Supriya Tai Sule, is always available, always on tones 24/7, 365 for the people of Baramati. And people of Baramati have themselves experienced that.
All right.
So it's not women versus women, it's not Pawar versus Parwar, but it is two wonderful women coming against each other for an election where where the odds for Supriya is at the highest point.
All right. Thank you very much
It's
for
two
joining us,
wonderful
Brijmohan
women.
Shrivastav, Pranay Ajmera, as well as Shaina MC. Thank you very much, all three of you, for joining us, for bringing in a very important perspective. Of course, this is a constituency that is going to be closely watched, not only by journalists and politicians, but also by the Janta. This is more than just politics at play. This is legacy and power both at stake. Thank you very much for joining us, all three of you.